Deiveson Figueiredo versus Brandon Moreno. This is our post-fight reaction, our discussion. Knuckleheads, welcome to the Fighter's Rep. Welcome to Get It Right. Saturday night. It's been a long night. A lot of drinks this evening. But first and foremost, what I need to talk about is this UFC 256 main event between, Deiveson Figueiredo and Brandon Moreno. What a dogfight. I knew going into this how motivated Brandon Moreno would be. Being a promoter from California, understanding the Mexican fighting spirit, I knew that this kid having the opportunity to become the first ever Mexican-born UFC champion, having seen the way he's fought in the past, I said to myself, this kid is a dog and he can fight. And I said to myself, man, this is going to be a great fight, and I look forward to it. And on the undercard, I was still taken aback from, Charles Oliveira's performance against Tony Ferguson on the undercard. But that flyweight fight between Moreno and Figueiredo was just, that was something, yes, Henry Cejudo saved the flyweight division, but these two guys right here put the flyweight division on the map, right? Because that was incredible. My first takeaway from the fight, right, besides it being a fantastic fight and a close fight, was I actually, disagreed with the judges on this one. And a lot of people, may throw egg at my face for saying this. But I thought that Brandon Moreno won that fight. It almost seemed as if every single time, and this was shades of Eric Morales for me, right? As a boxing fan, this was shades of Eric Morales for me. Very cool, very composed, but very arrogant. Every single time Figueiredo landed a hard shot on Moreno touche'd, he returned fire and landed something himself. It was tit for tat all night long. And, I did feel like Figueiredo had more power, especially in the beginning of the fight. But as the fight wore on, you saw Moreno land some incredibly crisp shots himself and wobble Deiveson Figueiredo a few times. It's almost like he could have gotten him out of there on a couple of occasions. It was a hell of a performance from Brandon Moreno. And the reason I think Moreno won was, besides the fact that I felt like the exchanges were even for the most part, and I felt they were even because I felt like Figueiredo probably maybe landed some of the more hurtful punches, single strikes. But I felt like Moreno also landed a lot of hurtful stuff too. I felt like the striking was, pretty even. But I felt like Moreno got a bunch, more takedowns than Figueiredo did. And I found it weird how, despite the fact, because I thought Moreno won the fight, maybe by one round. And, despite the fact that they took a point away from Figueiredo for, the vicious kick to the nether region that we saw, I think it was in the second round, somehow the judges still scored it a draw, and one of them had it 1 point towards Figueiredo. So, the ending result was a draw, but I felt like Moreno should have probably gotten a slight edge. I don't see how they don't run this back. I think this is the next fight to make in the flyweight division. These guys got to fight each other first and clear the air so we know who's the best. But for me, that performance was, Moreno. I felt like the striking was very close, but I felt like Moreno had a bit of an advantage there. He definitely got way more, takedowns. I don't really remember Figueiredo getting any takedowns at all. I remember him getting dropped a bunch of times by Moreno. And I mean, I don't really see how Figueiredo won that fight. Now that I look back on it, you know what I mean? Whether I was scoring it round by round or whether I was, going to score it overall, right? Because sometimes you get like an overall impression of a fight, although that's not the way to score a fight. You score it round by round. But if I were to look at the fight either round by round or just overall impression, I felt like Brandon Moreno just edged it. And, I understand you got to beat the champ or whatever. People say that and think that, but I just, the decision was, I feel like DC also felt the same way. I didn't love the decision. I feel like DC was trying to say, it was a close decision. He was kind of beating around the bush. Of course, he's a company guy. He can't outright say that, I felt like, Moreno won or whatever. I think he was trying to soften the blow. But yeah, I thought Moreno maybe won by a round, I would say, Fantastic fight, man. Fantastic fight, wow. Wow, I did not expect for that fight to steal the show in that fashion. I knew it would be a good fight, but I didn't expect it to steal the show. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button, the bell notification icon, guys, and definitely smash the like button. That helps with the algorithm. That helps us, get out there. This is Get It Right Saturday night. We go live every Saturday after the fights. We had Anthony Joshua today, so we put up a video on that, on his knockout victory over Kubrat Pulev. We kind of predicted that one. I mean, I didn't feel like Kubrat Pulev had anything for Joshua. And in fact, I was actually less impressed with Pulev today than I was going into the fight, and I was also less impressed with AJ. But that's boxing. You can go watch that video. Regarding tonight, I mean, we had a bunch of good fights. Cub Swanson looked great. Kevin Holland, amazing first round TKO over Jacare Souza. Mackenzie Dern's fight against Virna Jandiroba was a pretty good fight too. I mean, Mackenzie Dern got pushed. Oliveira just absolutely dominated Tony Ferguson, man. Charles Oliveira, man. Look, I put up a post on Facebook about this, and definitely follow us on Facebook at Fighters Rep, on Twitter at Fighters Rep, on Instagram at Fighters Rep, so on and so forth. But I put up a post about this. I've always advocated, right, and I've always taken the position that taking tough fights in your career is more important and way more beneficial than padding your record. A lot of guys pad their records, and we see that a lot, especially in boxing. But I think taking tough fights is a lot more important. And nobody is a better example, a better personification of that mentality than Charles Oliveira, who, has grown up and been raised in the UFC, right? Fighting the best of the best. And he went out there and he was butter smooth, and he made Tony Ferguson look like an old man. He made him look like an amateur, man. I mean, he just manhandled Tony Ferguson. I couldn't even understand what I was watching. And listen, you see what he did against Kevin Lee, and you said to yourself, wow, was that a breakout performance? That was or was that a one-time thing? And then he goes in there and does this to Tony Ferguson and just, kind of embarrasses him, And Tony Ferguson, no disrespect, he's a legend, you know what I mean? But that's why I'm so taken aback by this performance, because I did not expect anybody to do Tony Ferguson like that. And he's doing Tony Ferguson in his own game, right? I mean, he was out grappling him. He almost, pulled his arm out the socket. I mean, it was incredible, man. It was incredible. Let's see what we got here. I'm going to switch over to the chat real quick because I see some funny stuff going on in here. Bro, they robbed Moreno, says Cheddar323. I kind of agree, man. I kind of agree, Cheddar, man. I kind of agree. I felt like Moreno, man, was the winner there, man, or should have been the winner. Marco Martinez, what up, brother? He says, what a great fight in a division that's highly underrated. I can't agree more, man. I can't agree more. And I think they just rated the division. Sly1216, appreciate you being in here, brother. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button, the bell notification icon. He says, I feel bad for Deiveson that he took the fight 3 weeks after a pretty bad weight cut. He did sign the contract, though. The Morales comparison is so spot on. I appreciate that, man. That same, that arrogance and that tenacity to want to return fire all the time and always issue the receipt after getting touched. Slide 1216 then says Moreno should have had the edge with the point deduction. I think even without the point deduction, he kind of should have had the edge, but that's just me. Marco Martinez says, I wasn't scoring the fight. I thought Deiveson was hitting with much more power, but Moreno was landing sick combos. He was hitting with much more power, but I felt like they were doing equal damage to each other, right? Because I actually felt, now that I'm thinking about it, I actually felt like Moreno did more damage to Figueiredo than vice versa, because I didn't see Moreno get wobbled in there. He took some hard shots, but man, he's got a hell of a chin on him, right? And he's very loose and he's very smooth, so he's able to absorb those shots. I felt like Figueiredo at times, buckled, like he was hurt. So I just felt like, you score a fight based on essentially the efficacy of the strikes, right? The how they influence and how they can lead to the ending of the fight, and if that's the way you're going to score the fight, and that's what it says according to the rules, the shots that land that have enough of an impact to affect the outcome of the fight, that's where, the most points are scored. So if you're looking at it based on those rules, I felt like Moreno's shots had more of a chance of affecting the outcome of the fight or ending the fight. That's what I mean by affecting the outcome of the fight. I never noticed Moreno hurt or reeling, but I did notice Figueiredo on a couple of occasions. I felt like he was really putting on a poker face. A couple times he was buckled. He looked hurt. I'm very impressed. I'm very impressed by Brandon Moreno. Look, I understand what you're saying by he was throwing the hardest shots and maybe landing some really hard shots. I agree with that. But those combos Moreno were landing, man, some of them were doing some serious damage. Let me see here. Every time I see Fight of the Year, it gets stopped, says Slide 1216. He says, that KO from the floor was out of this world. The biggest shock for sure was Ferguson. I agree, man. That shit was wild, man. GDog0331 says, do you? I'm going to do me all day, brother. Marco Martinez says, Cub looked amazing. I hate that UFC fighters aren't paid as well as they deserve. But without this pay scale, the UFC probably put on this complete cards that they do. Well, I'm not sure what you guys mean by they're not paid what they deserve. What do they deserve? What do we really measure it up against? There's no other MMA league doing anything even close to the level of the UFC. There's nobody paying even close to the level of the UFC. And when you look at boxing, sure, the top, 0.01% are making a ton of money, but the rest of the boxers, I don't think they're making great money. I would argue that, a low-level UFC fighter is probably making, as much as a low-level boxer. Excuse me, but then again, you could just Google that and search for yourself. Look, I always want to give the fighters more money, but this is a business at the end of the day, and you can only pay what you can pay. Do you recommend any online law school, says G-Dog? No, I would not recommend an online law school. I don't know of any. I attended a normal brick and mortar, if you want to call it that, law school, and that's how I would do it. Cal Blundell says, I think Figgy would have won if he did not have the nut shot. I mean, he kind of won anyway. He kept his belt, you know what I mean? The guy who KO'd Renato Moicano was nasty. He came from Tiger Muay Thai. He looked great. And Tiger Muay Thai has got some absolute, monsters there. And you're talking about Rafael Fiziev. And yes, he is a beast, that guy. That guy's a beast. Let's see here. I had Oliveira's stoppage. He is amazing on the ground. Yeah, I mean, he really is. Moreno landed the cleaner shots but lost round 1 and round 5 clearly. None of the rounds that Moreno won were clearly. Well, Cal, I mean, you got to also remember he took this guy down a couple times. And are you saying that Figueiredo lost round 1 and 5 clearly? I didn't, maybe he lost round 5 at the end. I mean, but even the rounds that, Figueiredo won, those were pretty close too. I didn't think he won that fight. Kevin from Chicago, old dogs got worked. JDS, Jacare, and Tony. Yeah, man. Freaking Junior Dos Santos, man. It might be time for him to call it a career. G-Dog says flyweights are underrated because are too drunk at the end of the night to appreciate the quick speed. Oh, wow, I'm done. Sly1216 says, I felt like Moreno was channeling Tony Ferguson's chin. Really, man. Really, I mean, that chin was fantastic, bro. That guy can take a shot. It's crazy. Philip Murillo says, I'm going to unsubscribe to this boring-ass channel. Peace, homie. Get the fuck out, Philip Murillo. Cal Blundell says, I said it 4 years ago, and I will say it again. Conor Habib smashed Tony up bad potentially. You got to beat the champ to be the champ, says G-Dog. Well, I mean, I think you just have to have, what the scoring criteria requires. And there's nothing in the scoring criteria that says that you got to beat the champ to be the champ. Cal Blundell says, it was one of them fights where both deserved the win. I can see that. George Estrada says, I think a rematch sounds good for Moreno next year. George, did you catch the Shakur Stevenson fight? Where do you rank him among the guys in the division? Excuse me, I didn't watch it. I was watching Anthony Joshua today. Spending time with the fam. But Shakur Stevenson, I heard, did a good job today. Looks like he got an easy win. And, from my understanding and my, colleagues' assessments of Shakur Stevenson, I mean, I'm hearing he's like the next Floyd Mayweather. So I think he's going to be a great fighter. Slide 1216, I'm not saying the UFC is paying the fighters perfectly, but I also think that too many people compare pay with top-level boxers. People need to remember that you have to sell yourself too. I agree with that. And boxing's been around forever. I mean, how are you going to compare the UFC to it and down the UFC? And then, it's actually crazy. I mean, the UFC does a great job considering how long it's been around. Like I said, I mean, many lower tier and probably even mid-tier UFC fighters get paid pretty damn well. I respect that opinion, even though it differs from mine. I'm still subscribed, by the way. Yeah, man, listen, I want you guys as subscribers, obviously, but, if my opinion or somebody else's opinion on the channel is enough to get you butthurt and want to unsubscribe, then I think you should get the fuck out. This is a channel for adults. This is a channel for real fight fans that can express their opinions without crying like little bitches. So, that's what this channel is. You guys have known that from the beginning. It's going to stay that way. And I respect everybody, but, if you're soft, this is probably not the channel for you guys. So I appreciate that, G-Dog. Ibrahim Mahmoud says, hey, brother, from this fight, what do you think Habib versus Tony would have been like? I think Habib would have smashed him up, Ibrahim. I really do, bro. Marco Martinez says, George, can you talk about the smoker situation and the kid and how it might affect fighters rep fighters in the future? That's interesting, Marco. I'm glad you bring that up, brother. Showing some love to my boy Jorge Estrada, man. Appreciate the donation, brother. Guys, anything you guys donate to the channel gets reinvested right back into the promotion, right back into building the channel. So much appreciated, George Estrada. You're the man, brother, with the super chat. Man, especially during these times right now, man. So we can't put fights together. We can't do shit. So anything's appreciated. Thank you. And if you guys want to get something back for your, donations and your support, get you a Fighters Rep shirt, hoodie, mask, tank top. They're in the link below. I think the shirt's only like $20. It's a dope shirt, man. Look at this design, black, fits nice material. And whatever you buy gets just, the money gets reinvested back into the promotion. So it's, greatly appreciated. Let me see here. You got good insight. I appreciate the promotion side of your channel. It ain't easy. It sure isn't, and no other channel is going to give you that, right? Where you guys come in here and, you guys can come in here, give your opinion, discuss whatever you want. There's no racism, unlike every other YouTube channel where they're like biased for or against people depending on where they're from. I mean, I never cared about that. I find it interesting, but I treat everybody equally, no matter what. And, you also, as you support the channel, I think this is the only channel in the world that does it, really, that talks about, combat sports. And also allows you to support and help build the only kickboxing promotion in the entire state of California. We're the only one. It's very hard to do business in the state of California. And there are other, promotions here in California that have been amateur promotions over a decade and have never done a pro show. We were an amateur promotion for a year in the striking department before we did a pro-am show, a pro show. And it was a fantastic show. We sold out. I thought we did a great job. The fighters were extremely happy. You can watch our fights for free right here on the YouTube channel. And it's only going to get bigger and better. I've got former UFC guys, Bellator guys, BKFC guys. They're kicking my door down. They want to fight, and you guys, by supporting the channel, you guys are a part of that, Any opinions you guys have, watch the previous fights, as you can see with every event, we improved dramatically. The production, the fights, the lighting, everything is being improved exponentially. But definitely go back, watch the fight. They're free to watch. They're incredible. It's the best rule set on earth. It's stand and bang. There's no clinching. There's no grappling. These guys just stand and bang it out. And any opinions or suggestions you guys have, I'm going to accept it. I'm going to take it, and I'm going to try to implement it if I think it's a good idea. So, think of this as like a crowd-funded, promotion / channel. Really, without fans, this thing goes nowhere, and that's what it is. I've been saying that since the beginning. Sly 1216. So G-Dog says, you got a good insight. I appreciate the promotion side of your channel. It ain't easy. Thank you, brother. It ain't easy, but when you love it like I do, it is easy, man. I really love this. And, if you follow us on Facebook and on Instagram and stuff, you'll see how much the fighters appreciate it and how much they love it and what we're building here, man. We're building a real culture. And as soon as this lockdown is over, things will be great. Slide 1216 says, how do you base a viewpoint off a whole channel off of one opinion? Put the pipe down and go to bed, dork. That is hilarious, man. Whoa, G-Dog, man. G-Dog, man. My goodness, man. My goodness. A $50 donation from G-Dog, man. G-Dog, look. Send me a message on Instagram, man. I want to call you and thank you personally. You too, George Estrada. You guys hit me up on Instagram. We'll talk soon, man. G-Dog, that's like the most generous donation I've ever received on this channel, man. So I want to thank you big time for that. Really. I mean, $50, that's crazy, man. Listen, if I had more support like that, I wouldn't have to work 2 full-time jobs. One being my job as an attorney and one being my job as a promoter. My goal, just so you guys understand, is to just be a full-time promoter. Right now with the lockdown in California, they're not allowing for audiences. It's very difficult to generate any sort of revenue. We were on that path until, this pandemic happened. But, that is the goal. And with, support like G-Dogs and George Estrada's, man, that's just, that's a blessing, man. Thank you guys. Wow. George Estrada says, if I get a t-shirt, can you sign it? George, absolutely, man. I would love to sign it, if you get a shirt, but you'd have to buy it from me directly if I'm to sign it, because they're for sale on Teespring in the link below, so I can't sign it. You would, be getting it directly from Teespring. But if you just shoot me a message on Instagram or whatever, I'll tell you how you can pay for it, and then I can sign it and send it to you. And I really appreciate that. If you get a t-shirt, man, it's just, for these fighters, man. It's for these fighters, I mean, of course it's partly for me. But I'm using the money that I've made from Fighters Rep to continue to improve Fighters Rep. Like I said, I have a full-time job on the side. I don't need the money, but I do it to continue to improve the brand and hopefully to, help these kids go somewhere, man. Holy shit, man. Like, Greg Sams has now donated too from Canada. Thank you so much, you guys, man. I'm feeling a little sentimental. I probably shouldn't have drank all this today. Wow, man. Wow. Wow, man. Thank you, guys. Thank you. And Sly, yeah, I know you were talking about that guy that unsubscribed. But, that's just a troll. YouTube is full of idiots like that, man. G-Dog, let me get your number, brother. You said 912 432 471. I got you in there, G-Dog. I'm going to hit you up soon, brother. Sly followed us on Instagram. Appreciate it, man. Sorry, not G-Dog Super Chat. What you score? Main event. Greg Sams, man. Listen, I greatly appreciate your donation, man. I greatly appreciate it, man. As I appreciate all of them. George Estrada. Anything you guys do for this channel is amazing. And really, really appreciate that. What did you guys score? The main event? Greg, I actually thought Moreno won that fight. Probably by 1 round. I see you said you had it 47-47. I mean, I'm okay with that. I just felt like Moreno... I felt like he hurt Figueiredo more than Figueiredo hurt him, and I felt like the takedowns were the difference, right? Because in MMA, I mean, I feel like they really score takedowns. And just my view, my interpretation of the scorecards, right? Because the way combat sports is scored is basically like any shots that are going to lead to the ending of the fight. Those are the shots, those are the strikes that are going to get the most points. So I just felt like Moreno was actually hurting Figueiredo more and closer to bringing about the end of the fight. That's not to say that Figueiredo didn't land some big shots, because he did. I do feel like he had more power per strike, right? His single strikes were much more powerful. But I felt like Moreno was never wobbled, right? He was never wobbled. I didn't feel like he was, losing his bearings. I didn't feel like he was buckled. I felt like he was just taking the shots. Whereas I felt like Figueiredo, I mean, look, you know, Mexican fighters are known for their chins, you know what I mean? And he really showed that. They're known for their heart. They're known for their chins. I felt like Moreno showed that tonight. He was just eating those shots up. Whereas Figueiredo, I mean, some of the shots that landed, he walked through, but some of them wobbled him. So I just felt like I would have given it a little bit, a slight edge to Moreno. But, Greg Sams, I never want you to, say sorry, not G-Dog Super Chat. I mean, look, anything you guys do for this channel is greatly appreciated. Again, if I tell you guys how hard it is to run the fight business here in California, I can go on, and I didn't even address the issue that Marco Martinez brought up, so I'm going to share that with you guys in a second. George Estrada says, sounds good. I will text you on Instagram, my boy. I look forward to hearing from you guys, man. You guys can always reach me on Instagram, and I also have a personal, this is secret, I got a personal Instagram besides the Fighters Rep Instagram. It's George Fighters Rep, George Fighters Rep, and then Fighters Rep is the business one, but George Fighters Rep is the personal one that comes right to your boy, so you can add me there as well. Danny Diaz says, I agree. Sly 1216 says, do you think Wilder will stop the excuses and get back in the ring? I thought Moreno 49-48. Sly, man, much appreciated, my brother. Thank you so much for the donation, man. My goodness, I mean, you guys are like crazy generous today, man. I freaking really appreciate you guys, man. One day I'm going to tell you guys what I go through to put these fights together, man. It's just too much to talk about in one sitting. I might, drive myself crazy. I don't think Wilder will stop the excuses. I think there's something wrong with Wilder mentally. I agree with you on Moreno winning by 1 round. I don't think Wilder will stop the excuses. Maybe he'll get back in the ring. But, if I'm Tyson Fury and you're talking about me like that, you're talking crazy about me and slandering me and defaming my name and my reputation, I'm not going to give you another fight. I'm going to freeze you out the game. Because, I think, respect and reputation is a huge thing in life. For me, at least. I mean, I grew up in that kind of culture. And in the fight game, all you got, especially in the fight game, right? All you have, and in business in general, I think in everything, all you have is your reputation, man. Even Scarface, said all you got is your balls and your word, man. And if somebody's defaming me like that, and hurting my business and hurting my reputation like that, I cut him out, That's the way I deal with stuff. I'm not saying all of you guys got to deal with stuff that way, By all means, I mean, if you let somebody verbally abuse you and defame you, and you still accept that person in your life, that's on you. I would advise against that. Whether it be in a relationship that's romantic or, friendly or business related, whatever it is, as somebody who comes from a long line of business owners, as somebody who's an attorney, and as somebody who's a promoter, as soon as somebody starts defaming you and neglecting you, you got to cut that person out. And so that's just the way I roll. I'm not saying I'm an unforgiving person, because sometimes people fuck up, but what Deontay Wilder has done is beyond fucking up. I mean, it's way over the top. Still haven't addressed what Marco Martinez is saying. I want to get to your comments first. 234 for Moreno, 1-5. I agree, says Danny Diaz. Shout out Danny Diaz. If you guys haven't already, hit the subscribe button, by the way, the bell notification icon, and smash the like button so we can get this algorithm to help us out on YouTube. G-Doc says, in the UFC, it's not the fight itself that scores the fight. Figueiredo fight 3 times in the past 2 months or so. That's all the judges see. We need a pure promotion. I mean, listen, I agree with that, man. I agree with that. And what I'm going to talk about, what Marco Martinez was mentioning, I think you guys are going to be very interested in that situation. It's about California and the promotions here. And California is the mecca of combat sports. I mean, I know that being an insider. All the best fighters in the world, they train right here. They're all right here. Anderson Silva's son fights for us. I mean, that's how decked out this place is. So I think you guys will be interested to know what's going on there. Greg Sands says 47-47 or Moreno's 48-46. Close, and after point Fig lost, Moreno picked it up. I agree with you, Greg. I agree with you, man. Beef Stew just watched the Tony fight on YouTube before the channel was taken down, LOL. This fight reminds me of Jones-Reyes fight. Got really beat the champ to get the judges. But that's not the way it should be. That's not the way it should be. There's a scoring criteria. It doesn't matter if the guy's the champ or not the champ. It doesn't matter if he's the hometown guy or not. We must remain objective, or else, corruption begins to fester. The inability to remain impartial and objective is what ruins everything. I heard this recently, and this is something I want to tell you guys. And I agree with this 100% with every particle of my being. I agree with this. Impartiality is real strength. Anybody can be biased. And we've seen what that's done to society, to so many different systems, to so many different organizations, to so many different countries. Anybody can be biased. But real strength is to be impartial. I want you guys to think about that. And I agree with Beef Stew that this fight does remind me of Jones-Reyes. It was close like that, but I actually thought Moreno did an even better job than Reyes did, relatively speaking. Dr. Joseph H says, how are you, George, in the chat? What's up, Doc? How are you doing, brother? Slide 1216 says 100%. If Moreno would have put 3 more strikes, he would have won. But, man, Moreno is a real Mexican warrior. I agree with that, my brother. James 2774 says, wise words, brother. Much love to you guys, man. Much appreciated. Hey, if it's your first time here, hit the subscribe button, the bell notification icon next to it. Join Knucklehead Nation. Listen, like I said, no other channel is going to let you not only discuss whatever you want, as long as it's respectful with regards to the fight game without booting you or getting butthurt if I disagree with you, but also no other channel's going to tie you to an actual promotion and helping build one. So definitely join. G-Dog says, you're a very business-oriented individual. Respect. Much respect to you. It's hard to do business in California. I believe California would be the greatest state in the world had it been a little bit more lenient towards businesses. We wouldn't be dealing with the situation we're dealing with now, where people are, basically starving here now. And it's all about a disconnect between, government and entrepreneurs. And, we need to mend that and show people that people who build businesses, they create jobs, they create opportunities for other people, The reason that I got into the fight game was because somebody gave me a job in the fight game and inspired me. So that's where I'm going with this. Keep it going. Who's next, says George Estrada. Much love to you, brother. Thank you so much, George. Appreciate it, man. Another donation, man. The generosity here is crazy today, man. Thank you guys so much. Dr. Joseph H says Oliveira is the future. I think you're right. George, by who's next? Who do you mean, brother? Do you mean who, fights Figueiredo next? Do you mean who's next for Moreno? I think they should fight each other, my man. I think they should fight each other. Are you talking about Oliveira? I'd love to know your opinion. Greg Sam says, how Tony not tap on that submission from Oliveira last 5 seconds at first round? Greg, I have no idea, bro. That guy's elbow went in reverse, and that man still didn't tap. That guy has got heart for days, my man. That is crazy to me. G-Dog0331 says, hey, I'm in Florida. We really need to link up. Man, G-Dog, you have no idea. I'm from Florida, Miami in particular. And lately, with what's going on in California, man, it's been really worrisome. And I've had crazy thoughts run through my head, although I'm not going to do it because I'm digging in here. But crazy thoughts run to my head about maybe returning to Florida because it's so much more friendly towards businesses. But I've already dug in here in California. You know, I've invested so much in these young fighters. I've created, already a culture, just a matter of a year of doing striking promotions, a culture that's so much better for them than anything they've had in the past. And there's still so much growing to do and so much improving to do on the show. You know what I mean? And I just think it's going to get better and better. I know it's going to get better and better. That's why I do this. Tony had his elbow dislocated, I guess. Man, I don't see how not. That was crazy to me. Greg Sims, I'm from Ontario, Canada, and we'll share link on Facebook and Twitter and try to get Canadians to watch you. Good fights you have. I see on YouTube. Appreciate you, Greg. I was just in Canada this year before Fighters Rep 9. I went out to Canada. I went to Montreal. No, Toronto. I went to Toronto. What a beautiful place. I've actually been to Canada a couple times. I love it there, man. I love Canada. It's a beautiful place. The people are super nice. You're lucky to be there, man. Dr. Joseph H. says, Moreno has more takedown. That should edge the fight. I agree. But UFC always crooked up decisions like Romero, Whitaker, Reyes, Jozo. I just want you guys to know, it's not really... I mean, the UFC has to go through... So as promoters, we have to go through the athletic commission. So me as a promoter, the way it works is I put the fight together. I cannot put the fight together without the commission overseeing the fight. You have to request the date. You have to let the commission know that you're going to do a fight. They assign their officials, the judges, the referees, the timekeepers. Everything is through the commission, right? And in California, it's the California State Athletic Commission. In Nevada, it would be the Nevada State Athletic Commission. The point is that, they're the ones that assign the judges. I mean, I guess to an extent, sometimes you can say, hey, I don't want that guy. He doesn't know what he's doing. Can you please send me this judge? I mean, you can make like recommendations or suggestions, but they don't have to listen to you. And it's out of your hands. I mean, it's out of your hands. You just hope they do their job properly. Where I will say that there is some influence is, especially in a situation like boxing, right? You all know, how devastating a loss is in boxing. And boxing is problematic because of it. But you all know how devastating a loss is in boxing. So let's say, for example, I'm Golden Boy Promotions and I have this young fighter. Let's say, for example, Ryan Garcia, and he's in a close fight in his hometown. It's a Golden Boy Promotion show. If you're an official, you're probably thinking to yourself, and this is where the influence comes in. You're probably thinking to yourself, this was a close fight. Do I give this to the opponent of the promoter that just paid my salary this evening? because when people say, oh, that guy paid, the ref off or paid the judge off, that promoter paid the ref off, the judge off. Yes, I pay for the refs. I pay for the judges. I don't pay them to make a particular decision, but we pay their salary. That's the way the sport works, in case you guys don't understand. It's just the way it is. Kirky Ivan, man, with the $5 or the €5 donation, man. Much love to you, brother Ivan, man. You've been so supportive, man. Thank you so much, man. Really, I mean, I called you on Instagram. If you guys donate or do something, I'm going to call you and I'm going to thank you personally. I'm going to express my appreciation to you in person. out of respect to you, so thank you so much. Sly1216 says, Greg, Tony was a twat hero. A twat hair away from tapping. The reason people ran away from boxing is because of the blatant corruption. Judging like this is going creates the same kind of doubt in people. I agree. Kirky Serbian. He's asking if Ivan's Serbian. Ivan says Croatian. Dr. Joseph says, thank you for having this sincere channel. Keep doing, George. Thank you so much, Dr. Joseph. Greg Sam says, yeah, I respect Tony for not tapping like Dan Hardy years ago. I remember that against GSP. Oliveira play of year for me. I agree. He fight winner of Connor Dustin now for the belt. George Estrada says to keep the donation going. That's what I mean. Oh, man, much love to you, George. Much love to you, brother. Hey, when I see you, George, it's Modelo time, bro. It's Modelo time. G-Dog, have your fighters train in Cali, then come fight under Florida taxes. We really need to link up. For sure, for sure. Worst judges ever are Cecil Peoples and Adelaide Bird. Actually, Cecil Peoples judged, I think, at our last event. So, and he's a very nice guy. Greg Sam says, I'm 2 hours east of Toronto. You in Toronto trying to find fighters? No, I went on vacation. My significant other hadn't been there and wanted to go there. And I said, all right, let's go. And this was right before the pandemic. We actually got Fighters Rep 9 off like a week or two before the pandemic and sold the show out, which is crazy to me. And, and then you think like, just a week or two later, the whole world shuts down. It was crazy. Let me get to what Marco Martinez was saying. So he was talking about fighters competing in smokers, which are illegal events. I LOL'd at the Cecil Peoples comment. Such a nice guy. He's a really nice guy. I'm not even joking. He's a nice guy. And they haven't messed up the judging at my event, so I love them very much. So a smoker, right, that is an event that's not sanctioned. There's no sanctioning body. It's just a bunch of guys getting together and saying, let's do like an underground or a backyard fight. The problem with that is obviously safety is a huge issue, right? These commissions require us to have medical insurance, general liability, paramedics on site, an ambulance constantly present. I can't even start the show unless the ambulance is parked and ready to go. Obviously, the physician that comes with the commission, and so on and so forth. I mean, there's all kinds of regulations for safety, right? I mean, if you haven't had, for example, in California, if you're an amateur and you haven't had 3 fights yet, you still got to wear shin guards and headgear. It's only when you're going into your 4th fight. In that 4th fight, you could take off the shin guards and headgear for kickboxing, which is what we do. So, a lot of this stuff is in place to keep the fighters safe and to make sure that people aren't doing shady, crazy stuff. There's also limits to how much weight guys can gain between weigh-in and the day of the fight, because they don't want people doing extreme cuts and killing themselves and dying. So I respect the rules, and I think they're necessary. Some of them are a little over the top, but at the end of the day, we all have opinions. They are like assholes, but at the end of the day, you need rules, okay? Without rules, you can't have an organization. You can't run a company. I mean, it would just be a fucking free-for-all. And people will get hurt and die in there. I mean, people have gotten seriously hurt at our fights. So apparently recently, and I mean, this has been happening, of course, because of this lockdown and this whole pandemic. Apparently recently, a lot of people, not a lot, but, a couple of people decided to get together and put together an unsanctioned event, and I've seen it. I've seen two. It's this one that I'm talking about now, and there was another one not too long ago. I'm not too familiar with them. I'm not hating. I don't want to, comment on what they did. I'm just letting you guys know that it happened. There were unsanctioned events. What happened was, okay, the guy who's the head of the IKF, the International Kickboxing Federation, and that's the body that regulates all the striking events in California, and they regulate in many states and countries all over the world. The International Kickboxing Federation, right? They're the only sanctioning body that's allowed to regulate amateur striking events in California, and they operate under the California State Athletic Commission, which is, the mother brain, the mothership. But the only people allowed to sanction striking events on an amateur level is the IKF in California. Whether you think, that's not cool, there should be more competition, it is what it is. They're the only one that's allowed. So I guess somebody did an event and mentioned one of the types of events that the IKF does in their flyer, and they put it all over social media, and the IKF, shot that down real quick. And here's the thing, the president of the IKF, Steve Fossum, he does not play the radio. I mean, if you are involved in an event that's not sanctioned, he's going to suspend you indefinitely, right? And I learned that because one of the coaches that I worked with in my prior events, he's a coach to a fantastic fighter, and a bunch of fantastic fighters, and actually his gym is incredible. But thank you, Ivan, much appreciated, man. But so he was involved in one of these unsanctioned events one time and got suspended indefinitely, right? So, and he wanted to corner his fighter for my events. I mean, if you're a coach, obviously you want to be in your fighter's corner. So I had to make a case, and he had been involved in this unsanctioned event years ago, and they suspended him indefinitely. Like, you're not allowed to even be in the corner or nothing. I had to, really negotiate and try to get him, reinstated with the IKF. It was not easy. It was no joke. And so after that experience, right, I started telling coaches, because I saw some of the kids that have fought for us, in the past, or maybe fighting for us in the future, showing interest in participating in some of these unsanctioned events. I told them, look, I'm not going to tell you how to live your life, but I will tell you that if you're involved in that, right, if you're involved in these unsanctioned events, for better or worse, it's not on me, I don't care, but for better or worse, you're going to get suspended indefinitely. And the reason I'm telling you is because then I can't work with you. So that's where I start to give a shit, is because I'm trying to build you up. I'm trying to give you a platform and a venue to compete and become a kickboxer and maybe go pro one day. But I can't help you if you've eliminated yourself from the IKF, because, again, that's the only sanctioning body that's allowed to sanction these events in California. And if you get suspended indefinitely, which means without limit, then I can't save your career. So I preemptively, it's crazy. It's almost like after I went through this issue with that one coach, I just felt this would happen again. So I preemptively started reaching out to all the coaches and gyms in California that I have contacts with. I told them, look, man, don't get involved in this shit. They're going to suspend you, the coaches, anybody there indefinitely. And it just happened. It just happened, a few days ago or yesterday or whatever. The IKF discovered one of these unsanctioned events. They've got, video, because these people are uploading it onto social media. I don't know why they would do that. People don't think. And he's just blanket. He just said, I'm just suspending everybody involved indefinitely. And it sucks because, you could be an incredibly talented fighter, 1-0, 2-0, or whatever, but you knew this event was unsanctioned. It's no secret. And you knew, somebody could get killed at this event, especially here in California and LA. You don't know, you piss off the wrong person during the event. Maybe there's no, I mean, there's definitely probably not a doctor there. I mean, all kinds of stuff can go bad. You knew this and you did it, and, it just sucks. Then I got to, try to swoop in and convince, the IKF to reinstate you, and that's not something I want to do. I got other stuff to do. You know what I mean? So I tried telling people, don't do it, man. And this is part of the battles, right? This is part of the battles that I fight to keep the sport going and to put on these events. I mean, everything is a battle. I'm just giving you a piece every time I do one of these videos. There's always a battle. Whether it's something happened with the venue, something happened with the fighters, somebody missed weight. Nobody. It's trying to find sponsors. It's always hard, but it's worth it for me at the end. Greg Sam says, "Cool, man. Though you in Cali, you got a Vancouver." You go to Vancouver, just close to you. I'm definitely going to check out Vancouver one day. It looks like a really nice spot. George Estrada says, you already know that's what I'm drinking right now. Greg Sand says, Montreal, great city too, for sure, for sure. Slide 1216 says, now I feel like crap. Cecil was the one who gave the fight to Machida versus Shogun. Machida got dominated. Ouch. I live in Dayton, Ohio. They have a lot of unsanctioned fights. Those kinds of fights mess things up for the legitimate businesses. I agree. Look, it doesn't mess. The only way it messes with me is it kills the talent, because if they get suspended, I can't work with them. I'm not intimidated at all by these unsanctioned events. I mean, they don't give a shit, and they do shit half-assed. I'm not worried about them. But, when you're compromising the talent pool, that's where I have a problem. Ivan says, I'm checking out. Good luck. Knuckleheads, that's all I've got. I've been on here almost an hour. I want to thank all you guys for joining. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button, the bell notification icon next to it. Join Knucklehead Nation. We put up free fights, interviews, and we do fight commentary pretty much every single day at 7 p.m. Pacific, and we go live every Saturday. So big thank you to you guys. Really appreciate your generosity today, and I'm going to be in touch with a lot of you guys on Instagram. Please reach out to me, because I'll forget, okay? Because I got a lot of shit going on, and there's a lot of you, and there's only one of me doing this goofy stuff, so please reach out to me. Anyway, have a great night, guys. Peace to you guys. Good night to you, man. Thank you, guys. Much love.